For Leo, Neptune enters in Aries at the end of Jan, which is your ninth house. You are becoming way more spiritual for the next 14 years. Neptune has stayed in your eighth house for past 14 years. The topics of finances, topics of in-laws, topics of intimacy, some kind of sensitivity, these topics can feel confusing. Of course, it's investments, inheritance, and stocks also. So now the confusion or sensitivity or spirituality planet goes into your ninth house, making you way more spiritual, way more sensitive to your academics. You could use intuition regarding what kind of academics you prefer to do. It's gonna stay in your ninth house for next 12 years. So topics of faith become way more important. Your teachers could be way more sensitive towards you. You could be that sensitive towards your teachers. You're using your intuition to pick your academic things. Regarding legal stuff can also bring in confusion. Things regarding long distance travel can also bring confusion. Or you could be traveling for more spirituality or religious purposes. Mid Feb, around Valentine's Day, Saturn enters your ninth house of travel. Saturn will be out of that pesky eighth house and it's gonna enter your ninth house. Whew, congratulations, Leo. You have finished a huge ordeal. It hasn't been easy past 3 years for you. I applaud you. If you have been through it, you have been through topics or issues that almost seem like it was life and death. You had financial issues, you had intimacy issues, you had non-stop depressive episodes, traumas, whatnot. You have dealt with a lot of things, my friend, and I'm glad you'll finally be out of it. I can't wait for you to have a better time. No more financial blockages, no more extreme mental trauma, no more extreme stressful events, no more life and death related events. And Saturn stays in your ninth house in Aries for 2 years, 2 months. You could have issues regarding travel, issues regarding legal stuff could come up, or travel issues could come up, issues regarding travel, long distance travel specifically, and you get way more serious with academics, or you are having a tougher time dealing with your academics. Your lecturers can be a bit more strict as long as Saturn is in your ninth house, and you might have to be way more focused. You might take the responsibility, which makes your life a lot easier. Otherwise, Saturn kind of pushes you to be responsible in your academics. You could also be questioning your faith. There could be major changes or revelations regarding faith while Saturn is in the ninth. You might not feel as lucky because ninth house is also house of luck, and Saturn kind of blocks that luck. Saturn can also stabilize your ninth house. So if your academics or legal issues or your faith or travel issues have been wobbly before, they kind of stabilize now that Saturn is in the ninth. Since it's not the most personal house, as long as you don't have planets in Aries, you're gonna be fine. In Aries or opposite Aries, you're going to be mostly fine. Saturn is gonna be retrograde at the end of July 2026 until almost mid December 2026 in Aries, which is your ninth house. So things regarding your academics or legal stuff, you could have a tougher time or you could have more delays while Saturn is retrograde. So yeah, it's a frustrating time to have Saturn retrograde, honestly. So redoing, reevaluating, slowing down of things regarding academics, travel, religion, legal stuff. Yeah, that's about Saturn, Leo. And Uranus enters Gemini, which is your 11th house. Uranus has been in your 10th house, giving you all kinds of sudden stuff since 2018. It has been here for past 7 years in the house of career, and it's gonna finally get out of there. And it's gonna get into house of friendship, networking circles, house of community, house of social media, which is 11th house. So no sudden events or sudden stuff, coming your way regarding your career, or shocking things happening in terms of your career. Once Uranus is out of there, Uranus gets out of there almost at the end of April of 2026, and it stays in your 11th house for the next 7 years. Your career is gonna get better. You could be making friends with people who you consider as weird or outlandish or eccentric or just pure genius kind of people. You could be more into technology regarding social media. You don't mind being the weird one on social media. You're letting your freak flag fly in terms of social media, or you're letting your weird self be weird when dealing with your friends or your networks or your communities. So you could really get into social activism also while Uranus is in 11th. Jupiter enters your first house in the second half of 2026. Jupiter has been in your 12th house yeah, for the first half of 2026. It's gonna stay in your 12th house. It's gonna get into your first house at the end of June 2026, and it's gonna stay there until the end of July next year. So you're gonna feel extra lucky. Of course, with that Saturn in ninth, I'm not sure if you're gonna feel that lucky, but still, you're gonna have much better time. Once Jupiter enters your first house, your self concept gets better. You feel way more optimistic to tackle with life. Things kind of happen a wee bit more smoothly. The universe aligns to your needs. You feel somewhat on a luckier side. Can put on weight, but anything regarding you, your health, your self concept, it's you're gonna have a lot easier time in general. With Jupiter in the first house, you're gonna feel lucky. So yeah, good luck with that. Jupiter is already retrograde, and it's gonna stay retrograde until 10th or 11th of March in 2026. It's in Cancer. So when Jupiter is retrograde, things can slow down in your 12th house. Reevaluating abroad travel, or slowing down of abroad travel, or re-evaluating your mental health. First half of 2026, North Node is in Pisces in your 8th, and it's gonna get into your 7th at the end of July 2026, and it's gonna stay there until March end 2028. The first half of 2026, the nodal axes are 8th and 2nd, so finance houses are way more activated, and any eclipses that happen during this time have way more potency. And later on, from the second half of 2026, your house of partnership and your house of self are activated. So eclipses happening in 1-7 axis can have way more potency. With North Node moving into your 7th house, there's a lot more focus on partnership. You could get into relationships, you could get married or engaged. You're definitely dating way more while the North Node is in 7th. So the first eclipse for 2026 happens around 17th Feb or 18th Feb, depends on where you live. It happens in your 7th house of Aquarius. This is new moon in Aquarius. It is annular solar eclipse. It is partial eclipse, so it's not super powerful. It's not super potent. You could be starting a new relationship, or you could be starting a new project because it is activating your 7th house. And the next eclipse is 2nd or 3rd March 2026. This is full moon, total lunar eclipse in your 2nd and 8th axis. So sun is in Pisces, and moon is in Virgo. North node is in Pisces, and south node is in Virgo. So it could trigger finances for you. You probably started earning new ways, or you probably thought of ideas, or you're implementing stuff, or you're investing in stuff that can go ahead and make you a lot of money in the future. It's a major triggering point for finances, definitely. Not just your finances, investments and stuff, but also regarding fertility or intimacy, physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, stuff like that can also trigger. But this is basically the finance axis So yeah, way more potency in terms of finances. Now the next one happens around 12th or 13th August. By this time, the nodes have moved into your 1-7 axis. So north node is in your 7th house and south node is in your 1st house. And new moon happens in Leo, which is your 1st house. This is a total solar eclipse. So this is new you. So mid-August, this is completely new you. You are a newer person. All the previous planets have cleared out by August. This is a completely new self-image, new self-concept. This is total solar eclipse, so it is pretty potent. Good luck with the new you. At the end of August, around 27th or 28th, there's a full moon. It is partial lunar eclipse, so it is not as potent. The sun is in Virgo and the moon is in Pisces. So things again regarding finances can also trigger during this time. Mercury stays retrograde in all the water signs in 2026. Mercury enters Pisces in the second week of Feb. It stays there for 67 days. Mercury enters Cancer at the beginning of June and it stays there for 69 days. Mercury enters Scorpio in the beginning of October and it stays there for 67 days. Mercury retrogrades at the end of Feb until the end of third week in March in Pisces and it stays for 22 days. During this Mercury retrogression, Pisces is your 8th house. They could be redoing, re-evaluating or delays regarding your finances or misinformation regarding your finances or fertility or physical intimacy or inheritances, taxes, investments and stuff like that. At the end of June until the end of third week of July, Mercury is retrograde in Cancer. So there is delays, misinformation, redoing, reevaluating stuff in the house of Cancer, which is your 12th house of mental health and abroad travel. Mercury is retrograde in the last week of October till the mid of November in Scorpio for 20 days, which is your 4th house. So there is again delays, misinformation, reevaluating and redoing things regarding your home front, your home, your properties, your family, especially your mom. Reevaluate everything. You could probably be involved in a bunch of house repairs, home improvement stuff. Venus stays between Libra and Scorpio a lot in 2026. Venus stays in Libra for 75 days and Venus stays in Scorpio for 79 days, including first week of Jan 2027. Venus enters in the second week of August until the mid of September in Libra, and it enters in the last week of October and it stays there until the end of first week of December. Libra is your 3rd house. Venus in the 3rd house gives you good relationships with your younger siblings, with your neighbors. You could probably move into a good neighborhood. Your neighbors are really helpful and nice to you. Your cousins and your younger siblings are really good and helpful to you during this time. And you're having an easier time buying vehicles or just learning how to drive becomes rather easy around this time. So you could be getting license permit or short distance travel kind of becomes a lot easier during this time. And Venus retrogrades at end of October 2026 till mid November 2026 in Libra. So you could have delays or misinformation or revisiting and reevaluation in the 3rd house. 3rd house is also house of communication. So especially with your partner, because it's Venus. Yeah, or things kind of slow down during the retrograde time. Venus enters Scorpio around second week of September. It stays there until the end of third week of October. It re-enters Scorpio around second week of December and it stays there until the end of first week of Jan 2027. Scorpio is your 4th house. Venus in the 4th house, you're having a happier time, a pleasant time at home. You're probably buying new properties. You're probably moving into a new house. You're having a really nice time at home with your family. The relationship between you and your parents is awesome. The relationship between you and your mom is awesome. Your mom is showing extra love and care towards you. Venus retrogrades from second week of October till 25th, till end of third week of October 2026 in Scorpio. Things regarding fourth house, you might have to reevaluate or redo stuff regarding your home front. Things can also kind of get delayed while Venus is retrograde in your fourth. There is no Mars retrogression in 2026, but Mars kind of stays between two signs. It stays in Leo for 141 days, including 2026 and 7. It stays in Virgo for 150 days, including 2026 and 2027. Mars stays for 59 days in 2026. Mars stays for 35 days in Virgo. So Mars enters Leo, which is your first house, at the end of September and until almost the end of November 2026. When it enters your first house, you have way more energy. You could probably focus that towards working out a lot. You could be running marathons, or you're getting body checkups, health checkups done. Also, you could get hurt, so be careful. And you could also be extra anger prone during this time. With Mars in the first house, you don't mind fighting with people, you don't mind snapping at people, or you feel like other people are fighting with you. So you tend to be a bit more on the aggressive side while Mars is in Leo. Mars enters a Virgo almost at the end of November, and it stays there until the end of third week in Feb next year. For this year, it stays for 35 days in Virgo. Mars in Virgo in your second house, it might feel like you have a hole in your pocket. You are spending way more money. You could also earn money a lot more quickly. You're spending money like water. So try not to do that. You could be eating a lot. You could have throat issues. That's it for Leo 2026. Enjoy your 2026, Leo.